nobody really knows what is going to happen in the next couple of months. This is clear. I think it was also a surprise for many people now to see the rapid growth of the Bitcoin. Where does it come from? I mean, we are talking about only Bitcoin. There's around 700 other currencies around cryptocurrencies.
So Marcus, welcome to the studios.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So today we're talking about the very exciting topic of Bitcoin
Absolutely.
and blockchain. Now, it's been all over the news recently because it has seen the highest highs that everyone seems to be catching the attention. So how can we set the blockchain system and cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin? How can we set it in context?
Yeah, there's a lot of noise around currently. There's a big buzz. What is cryptocurrency? What is blockchain? It's quite confusing for the most of the people. I would say blockchain. You can think about blockchain is the main character of a blockchain is to have a decentralized database. Before we are more have the tendency to centralize everything. Let's say you want to make money transaction, you centralize it via a bank. So the bank executes the transaction, validates the transaction. Now we have a completely different system. We give the transaction and the validation process into the hands of multiple users as an open system, an open ledger, a public ledger, how we say, in an open database and this fully distributed system amongst many users. This is more blockchain. And if you compare blockchain or set it into comparison with Bitcoin, you could say the blockchain is your smartphone and the money, the Bitcoin, is just the application on it.
So focusing on Bitcoin a little bit more, it has surpassed $10,000 recently, and it's the 30th biggest currency now, if you look at it. Can digital currencies overtake currencies at present, do you think?
I think absolutely. I mean, we now start to think about the nature of money itself. What is it? I mean, first we had the tangible assets, let's say, that we saw as the only value that exists. Now we came over to virtual money. We came over with paying with credit card and so ever. Cash money is more and more going back, and I think it's absolutely a chance. The only thing is, money needs to gain a certain trust before it's accepted by the broad masses. I think currently it's still a niche for the money. We have the early adapters right now that we see that go into the market. Now we have the so-called FOMOs, the fear of missing out, that step in. We might face a kind of parabolic drop down now after the high from yesterday, which is now risen 10K for Bitcoin, which is amazing. We will see.
And you mentioned it perfectly there. FOMO, everyone is wondering, is it too late to step aboard? It's really catch the attention of the masses. But is it too late to invest? You mentioned there could be a little dip because it has reached all-time highs. Is it too late to hop aboard the party bus, as it were? Should people wait for there to be a little bit of a dip, a little bit more of a kind of a neutralization in the market?
I mean, this is most likely what most of the people currently think about. Is it too late to go into the market or not? But when you see the historical data of the Bitcoin, when it was announced at 2009, it was quite I would say stable over the time. We had some minor peaks and then drop downs, minor peaks, drop downs over the full cycle until I would say 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. Now we see a huge ramp up. There's a lot of people, Jim Cramer from CNBC, for example, who said we will see the 1 million per Bitcoin. There's other people who say that is a big bubble. Nobody really knows. I would say the majority of the people, the majority of the specialists, they see it rather positive. They see at the end of next year, the Bitcoin will rise 25K, for example, 30K. I mean, everything is realistic. This could be a huge bubble. This could be also a huge opportunity for everybody. 1 million per Bitcoin would be cool. I would say if this would be the scenario, then definitely go and buy it. I don't give investment decisions here. It's my personal opinion that Bitcoin will continue growing.
Expect the unexpected, as it were. Okay, so finally, just taking a look. So what are the possibilities of market development in things like Bitcoin and the possible scenarios of threats that investors might face? What are the pros and the cons here?
There's definitely certain threats because nobody really knows what is going to happen in the next couple of months. This is clear. I think it was also a surprise for many people now to see the rapid growth of the Bitcoin. Where does it come from? I mean, we are talking about only Bitcoin. There's around 700 other currencies around cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is the most popular amongst them with the huge growth recently, as said. I think one of the major threats is the speculation, if let's say, non-professionals step into the market, the so-called FOMOs. This is also, most of the cases, a sign of having a bubble. You can remember mostly the tulip history in the 17th century, when the prices of the tulips went up and afterwards it broke down in a bear market. I think if you invest in Bitcoins, you should also prepare yourself to go into a bear market if the cost drops. Along with that, you're facing most likely limitations from governments, from let's say legal limitations. So they say, okay, the Bitcoin, we need to regulate this somehow. It is illegal currency, and so on. The whole acceptance of this as currency. So the major threats I see really is, first, will Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency really succeed on the way and not being only speculation? I think to be a real currency, Warren Buffett, for example, said Bitcoin is not a real currency because of the volatility that we see. But we see volatility also in other markets with I would say, traditional currencies. More the volatility is like this. Bitcoin goes like this. I mean, I prefer this one. But as said, regulations of governments, regulations in the banking sector, this is all threats for Bitcoin. For any cryptocurrency, there's a matter of, is the system safe? Who will control it? I mean, the principle behind it is to have not a single instance to control it. And is this really safe? Can we really make sure the system is working transparently? How do we deal with the fact of the data security? How do we deal with the fact of privacy? And so on. This is all topics that are not really addressed yet. Many people say, yeah, you can, for example, completely anonymously transfer money from one point to another, which is true. Nobody knows what this money is used for. We are talking about money laundering. This is all arguments that are absolutely valid. And these are topics that need to be solved before we can really say Bitcoin is an absolutely valid alternative currency.
Fantastic. Well, Marcus, thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your insights with us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Well, that's all from us here in the Geneva studios, but we want to hear how you found this interview, so drop us a comment in the comment box below.